Stellar has gained positive momentum over the past week, collecting 43.82. This is especially true when you consider that, contrary to what most people think, the expanded XLM intraday volume is 338,003,299, or so they thought, and that the XLM US dollar pair is trading above the EMA 20. Stellar has been trading at around $14 since July 27, 2023. In this video, we'll walk you through Stellar's price analysis for now and the next week. We'll also try to answer some of the most common questions about Stellar. So they thought, Bitcoin has 48.37% of the entry market, while Ethereum has 16.33%. This made Bitcoin's price drop to $29,837.66 after a 0.14% drop. In the past 24 hours, the price of many digital currencies, like Adarius, has gone up by 0.15 cents to 18.99.9 cents. Before we get too deep into the technical analysis of XLM, let's talk about the economy as a whole. Also, Coco's BCX fell to 60 cents after losing 0.77 of its value, which shows that XLM's intraday volume is still 338,032,099. These events show that the market is going down at the moment, as Ethereum's price has gone up by 0.15 coin. Stellar help and obstruction backing in opposition especially are significant specialized markers used to recognize essentially key cost levels where the pattern can head in a different path, so Stellar pick up bullish speed over the previous week, acquiring 43.82 most certainly in spite of mainstream thinking support sort of is a level at which purchasers fundamentally become commonly more fundamentally dynamic, and in every way that really matters prevent the coin as costs from falling any. Further exhibiting how Bitcoin shares 48.37 of the entry market while Ethereum basically has a predominance of 16.33, which basically is very huge. Similarly, obstruction really is a level at which dealers in a real sense move exceptionally dynamic and certainly prevent the coin as cost from moving higher, which for the most part shows that right now a very broad especially regrettable plunge can be seen all through the crypto market by and large further appearance how which in a real sense brought about Bitcoin cost dropping down to 29,837.66 level after a decay of 0.14, or so they for the most part thought. Following generally are the help and obstruction levels of Stellar XLM. Excellent execution based on price analysis market research. Stellar XLM is currently trading at 14 cents. With a trade volume of $338,310,299. In the last 24 hours, the price of XLM has gone up by 8.14 cents, which is a huge amount. The price of XLM changes by 43.82 over the course of a week. And its market value is $3,822,998,945 US dollars, which goes against what most people think. Excellent price check cost study for XLM for July 27, 2023 insight data for most of the day-to-day time period made sense when you looked at how different digital currencies worked. For example, Ethereum's price has gone up by 0.15 cents to 18.99.9 cents in the last 24 hours. Before we get too deep into the XLM technical analysis, let's talk about how the economy is doing right now. The ACD line is still above zero, which means that the economy is doing well. Over the course of the week, the price of XLM went up by 43.82, giving it a total market capitalization of $3,822,998,945 US dollars, or so they thought. The relative strength file, RSI, shows that the XLM coin is in the combination zone, because the RSI is at 42. However, before getting too deep into the XLM technical analysis, they thought it would be best to talk about the current economic situation. Even though the economy is growing slowly, the move by the Federal Reserve to raise the federal funds rate by 25 basis points has caused the price of Bitcoin to drop by almost 3% in the last week. Investors and traders are keeping a close eye on how the market reacts to this rate hike, because it could affect how the coin does in the future. Even though the economy has been growing slowly, The Federal Reserve recently raised the federal funds rate by 25 basis points. This was predicted and had already been factored into the market. Hovered near $29,500 on August 10 as markets braced for a fresh United States Consumer Price Index (CPI) print. Trader warns of Bitcoin downside despite CPI volatility. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed BTC price action stabilizing in the run-up to the CPI release, itself a classic volatility catalyst. CPI is one of the key elements for the Federal Reserve when deciding interest rate policy. Last month's June readout was the lowest in 2 years, with expectations broadly pointing to another drop for July. 3.3% are the expectations, but are we going to get it, and what will the markets do? Michael Van de Poppy, founder and CEO of trading firm 8, queried in part of an X post on the topic. Van de Poppy noted that there appeared to be a chance that CPI could rise, something which would pressure risk assets, including crypto, which favor looser Fed policy. JP Morgan Chase was among those warning of a re-acceleration in CPI values. The major uncertainties concerned two issues that were previously seen as unlikely to undermine the July numbers: the direct and indirect price pass-throughs of the recent increase in energy and food prices, and the relative stubbornness of service inflation, economist Mohamed El-Arian explained in part of the day's analysis. With CPI today, I think bitcoins and crypto are going to give us some fun and games, but ultimately, I'm slightly biased to more downside, popular trader Mark Cullen told X followers. With BTC re-entering the range and failing to hold 29.5K yesterday, if it can't immediately get back above and hold, I will compound my short. Major BTC buyer support below $29,000. Monitoring resource material indicators, meanwhile, presented liquidity conditions on the Binance BTC/USD order book. Related, Bitcoin risks 15% dip by October, but $100,000 is due in 2026, analysis. These revealed the potential for snap downside thanks to a lack of bid support immediately below current spot price. Not speculating on what the CPI and jobs reports are going to look like in the morning. At 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll know how those numbers will impact the soft landing narrative and the September Fed rate hike decision. What matters between now and then is where liquidity is stacked and where it's thin, part of accompanying commentary read. Price can move quickly through the dark, illiquid zones because there is little or no friction. To the contrary, the more liquidity